One of my favorite genres that I listen to like on the daily is reggaeton.
Right.
And I feel like that with house blends in so beautifully. Funny is I actually went to school declared as like a wine marketing major.
Wow.
Yeah, I went in there. My entire family's in the wine industry, and so
that's crazy.
I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I go in there. My first semester I was like, yeah, I don't even care about wine like that. Like, I'd rather drink beer, to be honest. And there was so many people there that we didn't even have the chance to like move all the tables out the way. So I was like kind of embarrassed, but I got on the mic. I was like, hey, you guys, thank you for being here early, but can everyone get up and help me move all the tables to the side? Dude, we cranked it out in like 30 seconds. Everyone just grabbed a table, stacked them on top of each other, and in like 2 minutes, we had a fresh dance floor right there.
It's Powertools, and we got Bolo in the house. How are you doing, brother?
We're doing good, man. Richard Vission, big fan, big inspiration, man. I'm excited to be here. Thank you so much for lining this up.
Oh, man, I'm glad that you're here. You just played Hard Summer. How was that?
It was surreal. It was surreal, man. Hard Summer, it was crazy. I don't remember the exact number that we had in attendance. I don't know if we got the final number, but I think it was like around 35K or so what we heard. So it was crazy. It was a 4 p.m. slot, which is like, that's early. You know what I'm saying?
People came out for you, man.
People came out.
Came out early to represent.
Yeah, it was crazy. So I'm grateful. Hard was actually my first like rave festival that I had been to back in 2018.
Oh, now who was playing in 2018 when you went?
The most memorable set I remember from that one was actually Diplo and Dylan Francis back to back. I remember they brought like a race car on stage.
Yes,
that was crazy to me.
Right.
And then that kind of opened my eyes to like what DJing could be, especially in dance music.
Right.
Because I knew about dance music, I knew about DJing because I was DJing like family quinceañeras and stuff, like weddings. I was kind of mentoring with like a mobile DJ.
Right.
And then once I got into like high school, I was like, hey, I'm not really feeling this mobile DJ stuff. But then once I got to college, started going to these festivals and raves and stuff, I was like, yo, there's a whole nother lane to this that what
was the first festival you went to? Because you grew up in like Napa Valley, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I grew up in Napa Valley. I had some cousins that put me on. They took me to my first festival in 2017, which was Coachella. That was a big one.
Yeah, of course.
That was a big one.
Yeah, you started off right.
Yeah. And I did see DJs there, but I think because that was my first festival, I was just kind of more overwhelmed, like just first time going crazy. You know, I was a kid, so didn't get to enjoy it as much until I got to Hard Summer the next year.
Right.
Where I was more kind of just paying attention to like, oh wow, all these are DJs on the lineup.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right. And that kind of opened your eyes to like
Exactly.
You know. But when did you get into like you said you were more open format. When did the dance bug hit you where you're like, I'm gonna do this. I wanna bring this flavor to it?
That's a good question. I don't know if I could pinpoint it on like a specific moment, but I would probably say in college when I started going to these raves is when I was like, oh, wow, this is sick. And then a lot of people at my school who were DJing at the college, they were all doing house music too. So I was hanging out with them, learning how to DJ with them. And that was cool, but I did notice that there was like a gap in the market for hip hop and like open format DJs, reggaeton DJs out at our school. So I was like, hey, why don't I kind of start blending the two? And then I kind of, as a result, started getting like more bookings from the school, from other like sororities, fraternities started booking me to start doing their parties.
Right.
And I moved to San Diego in 2020, which was the year I graduated from college, which was also the year of the pandemic.
Right.
So I graduated, but I didn't actually have a ceremony. It was actually kind of unfortunate, but
sorry.
It is what it is. Because it was like a fresh new chapter, you know?
Right.
Moved to San Diego, I was just eager to make any connection. So I was DJing hip-hop clubs, open format clubs, reggaeton clubs, house or like dance clubs. But at that time, everybody was DJing house music too, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I kind of was just there trying to make my connections, network with anyone, take any gigs I could. After I would say like 2 years of kind of like making all these connections, I finally was like, you know what? I know what sound I want to lean into. I've kind of tested the waters on a bunch of different styles.
Right.
And that's kind of when I leaned into like combining the Latin influence dance music. And it's been great ever since.
That's dope. What I love about what you're doing is you're like using all forms of like Latin like music, like whether if it's like you sent me that lean like a cholo, like it's not just like some salsa stuff. You're using all kinds of influence. Talk to us about that.
Yeah, I mean,
are you going through your parents' playlist?
Pretty much all the stuff I grew up on. One of my favorite genres that I listen to like on the daily is reggaeton.
Right.
And I feel like that with house blends in so beautifully.
Right.
But then there's those nostalgic records like I have a big one that I play on most of my sets, which is the Mesa que más aplauda. I have like a techno remix of that one. Right. Super sick, hits every time. El Sonidito, another classic. Right. That classic little sample that you can use in pretty much anything.
Right.
Started blending that into techno, and so honestly, anything that I just feel like, you know what, that's a sick record that I remember growing up on. All these quinceañeras we were going to, and it got us dancing. So like, why not just infuse that into these sets, make it more modern? put our flair on it, you know?
That's awesome. And obviously, like, some of your inspirations has to be like Dioro and who else is inspiring you?
You know what? Since early on, it was Dioro was probably the first one because he was like the big Latino DJ who was making noise for a minute now. He's been on top of the game for a minute now too. Diplo was another kind of like influence because he wasn't just tied down to one genre.
Right.
He was kind of testing the waters. He had a bunch of different projects, and I thought that was super sick.
Right.
And I feel like those were the top two. Skrillex, obviously, he was like early on. He was pioneer of like dubstep.
Right.
And just those crazy sounds, those crazy patches he was doing with all those synths was insane to me.
Right.
But I would probably say those three probably had the biggest influence on me wanting to lean into dance.
Nice. And like, you're growing up in Napa Valley. I haven't met anybody like, I think Napa Valley. I think wine and you're DJing bars, playing house music in Napa Valley. Like, that's gotta. And you've gone from like bars in Napa Valley to festivals, to Insomniac festivals. Talk to us about that journey, man. It's got to be surreal right now.
It's surreal. No, I still like. Even I didn't even really process it until like this morning where I woke up and the weekend's over and I'm like, dang, we really did that. That was crazy. But in Napa, there wasn't at the time. I don't know today as much. It's obviously grown a little bit more, but there was no scene at all for dance at all. There's not that many nightclubs in Napa Valley. I went to school at Sonoma State, which is right next door if you're familiar with that area. Also big on wine there. What's funny is I actually went to school declared as like a wine marketing major.
Wow.
Yeah, I went in there. My entire family's in the wine industry, and so
that's crazy.
I was like, that's what I'm gonna do. I go in there. My first semester, I was like, yeah, I don't even care about wine like that. Like, I'd rather drink beer, to be honest. And then so I switched over to marketing, which was one of the greatest decisions ever, because then I ended up being able to apply some of the stuff that we learned there to that. And so, yeah, I mean, I knew as soon as I graduated, once in 2020, the pandemic had hit, I was like, yo, I need to go somewhere where there's more of a scene where I could start, making my way up and making better connections. And so I was looking at San Francisco, I was looking at LA, I was looking at San Diego. San Diego was always somewhere where I had always wanted to move to. I applied to all the schools in San Diego for college.
Right.
Didn't get into none of them. So as soon as I had the opportunity, I was like, hey, school got canceled, we got no jobs, the pandemic had hit.
Right.
I was like, I'm moving to San Diego. I don't know too many people out there. I don't know anyone at the time. I just moved, and it was one of the best decisions I had made at that time. So it was great.
Sick. So where does the name Bolo come from? And, obviously it's your DJ name. Is there some point of reference for it?
Bolo is actually a family nickname, which is actually short for Boloncho. And the only reason they call me that, one of my madrinas, my godmother, she gave me that nickname just because I was a fat little kid. You know what I'm saying? Since I was small.
Right.
So she started calling me that. All my cousins call me that. And as I kind of got older, they all started calling me Bolo for short.
Right.
And so when I was DJing in college, I was actually DJing under a different name. And I knew that was not the name I was going to stick with. I don't even know why I had even gone with that name.
Right.
But then in 2020, I was like, you know what? No, I want to lean into this sound more. That's when I was like, I'm rebranding to Bolo. And then to answer your question from earlier, it was like, is it Bolo? Is it Bolo the DJ? Yeah. At the time, if you Googled Bolo, you would get like every 50,000 other things, or like 30,000 other DJs who were DJing under Bolo. So I went with Bolo the DJ because there was no other Bolo the DJ at the time.
Right.
Trying to get my SEO up, trying to just, build a brand around it. Eventually, I'm trying to graduate and just be Bolo, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So hopefully one day.
I think you're very close to graduating.
We're close.
Yeah, I think
we're
you're
close.
very, very, if not there. Now, you also launched a label.
Yes.
How do you say the name?
Vibraza.
Vibraza. Got it. Records.
Yeah.
And it's a Latino rave label. Talk to us about what your mission statement for the label is and why starting it.
Yeah, I think like our slogan is the Latino rave movement. Before I was kind of really getting solid bookings, I was in San Diego and I kind of noticed like, yo, there's a community, but there's no like home for it. You know what I'm saying? Like they're scattered around. So I threw like a small little block party. It was like a few hundred people, and I called it Vibraza, the Latino rave movement. It was cool. We had a lot of friends that came out. And then we did one. It was cool. There was some hype. People were kind of like, all right, what's next? And then we kind of didn't really do much until the following year when I started to make more connections, started to meet more people, started getting more bookings. Where I was like, hey, we have this idea. Pitched it to the team, pitched it to Sal. I was like, yo, I have this idea of Vibraza, which at the time was just a little party, right? But a cool thing for it would be turning it into a record label.
Right.
And really just, at the end of the day, building a home for the Latino rave community, putting on other artists, so that was the vision behind it. That's kind of our goal, is to just build the platform to be able to develop artists, build a home, build a community. So I say there's two sides to it. There's the events side of it, the live shows, and then there's obviously the record side of it, which is doing more radio stuff. publishing stuff and all that stuff, distribution.
And are you doing A&R, like where you're like taking like you find stuff from friends and stuff, your crew, and putting out their music too?
Yeah. We haven't released too many records. I think to date, because we only started it earlier this year, I believe. Right? I think it was February we started it. I think we've only had 5 releases up to this point.
Right.
Obviously, hoping to do more. We've done, I think, 4 or 5 events too, which those are really cool because that's a quicker way to grow the community and kind of get people to see what it actually is in person.
Do an event for every release. There you go.
We should. Yeah. That's actually the move right there. But yeah, right now it's just kind of hitting up homies like, hey, because it's grassroots right now. You know what I'm saying? We're trying to start it from the ground up, hitting up homies. Yo, we got this going. Is there any songs that you would be down to put out and just help grow the vision? There's been a bunch of people who've been sending some cool stuff, so we got some cool stuff planned. I'm excited. I'm excited for it.
So you said you studied marketing and you applied some of that. Talk to us about what aspects that you learned in college that you applied in like marketing and building your brand.
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say one of the areas that I really focus a lot of time in right now is social media marketing. I studied a lot of advertising as well. Before I was actually DJing full time, I had tried I tried running a little marketing agency. So I was doing advertising for a bunch of different small companies. That was cool. We ended up hitting it really big with one client, made a lot of money for them through ads, and then they ended up bringing me full time in house with them. That company ended up going under because they made some decisions that just were not, it didn't work out, which was a blessing because then I got to lean more into the music and then apply some of those strategies. I would say advertising and social media. Social media, TikTok specifically, honestly, is a tool that I use like religiously because TikTok versus like Instagram, for example, TikTok will get you insane reach to people who they've never even heard of you. Right. Instagram does the same thing, but I think Instagram shows it to like your actual community first. Right. And then the way
it's a lot harder to grow on Instagram than it is on TikTok.
That's what I've learned as well. TikTok was cool though because when I started getting booked for these sets, I started just like calling out the audience I was looking for. So I'd post TikTok like, yo, calling all Latino ravers. I'm gonna be at this festival. I'm gonna be in this city. Come through. Right. And then people started getting word because they're like, oh shit. And then they would send it to their friends who are also Latino ravers or whatever. So word started getting around. Right. Got my first few viral videos and it was just me promoting these sets. So that was cool. And to this day, I'll still do that even for Hard Summer this weekend. Right. Calling all Latino ravers, pull up to Hard Summer. I got one of my first big main stage slots at a festival. And TikTok, it was a tool I was sleeping on at first for a while, I'm not gonna lie. And anyone who asked me, they're like, yo, what do I need to start doing? Start posting on TikTok.
100%. I saw on one of your on your YouTube page how you guys did a pre-party at a taco shop. Yeah. And that's actually my dream to do King Taco. But I was like, oh, he did it. Talk to us about that. That looked amazing.
Yeah, no, that was surreal, man. That was a little viral moment we caught on social media too. It was an idea I've had for a while. I was doing a pop-up. Pop-ups are really popping right now. They're doing them everywhere. The coffee shop pop-ups. Right. And I had this idea, yo, we should do it at a taco shop. Right. So I hit up my manager, Sal. I was like, yo, what can we do? And Beyond Wonderland was the following, like, it was like a week after we had, like, pitched the idea. Right. And he had a buddy who I guess had a cousin who owned a taco shop right there in the IE. Nice. And super last minute, yo, we have this idea. It's Beyond Wonderland weekend, which that was actually my first main stage slot at a festival. Right. Because before that, I was only doing art cards and stuff like that. So that was my first chance on a big stage. Right. Can we do a pre-party to kick off the weekend? It was a Thursday, I believe. And just do a little pop-up at a taco shop. Everything lined up. We ran it by Insomniac. Yo, you guys cool with us doing this? Right. They were like, yeah, of course. Everyone's already in town, Right. We did it. We announced it on, I think, a Monday. And I'd posted at like 9 p.m. And like by midnight, we already had like 3,000 RSVPs. Nice. So we shut it down because we were like, yo, we're not going to be able to fit this many people in like this little taco shop, you know? And it was cool. There was a lot of hype. And it went super smoothly. I was a little worried because I was like, yo, if 3,000 people show up to this little taco shop, it's going to be a mess. Right. We brought security. We had some homies help us out with the production. And it was crazy.
Now, did people actually eat tacos?
Yeah. No, they did. It was cool for the business too because people got to learn about this taco shop they hadn't visited before. Right. People came. It was funny because people showed up early before. I think we had announced it was going to start at 9 p.m. So people got there early because they didn't want to miss out on getting in.
So they start eating some tacos. They get to stay.
Exactly. And the funniest thing is we got there early to set up. And by the time we had already got there, I think it was like 7 or something, people were already in there. And like, oh my God, that's Bolo right there. That's Bolo right there. And I'm like,
while you're setting up. That's awesome.
And it was funny because it was so full by the time we had even before, like it was 2 doors before doors open. Right. And the taco shop, they were still operating like, regular day. And there was so many people there that we didn't even have the chance to like move all the tables out the way. So I was like kind of embarrassed, but I got on the mic. I was like, hey, you guys, thank you for being here early, but can everyone get up and help me move all the tables to the side? Dude, we cranked it out in like 30 seconds. Everyone just grabbed a table, stacked them on top of each other, and in like 2 minutes, we had a refreshed dance floor right there.
See, that's a movement right there.
Right?
Yeah,
That's
sick, a movement. Man. That's. I love everything you're doing, man. I love the music you're doing. I love the marketing. I love what you're building. What else do you got cooking for the rest of 2025 and next year? I know you're doing like EDC. You're doing Nocturnal Wonderland.
Yeah.
I think you just got signed to a UTA. Talk to us about all this exciting stuff.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this year's been crazy. I guess to back up a little bit, last year I started touring with this party called Reggaeton Rave.
Right.
Super sick party. That's kind of what gave me my first opportunity to start traveling and start doing parties around the country. And I started using that opportunity too, to use social media and that, like, hey, I'm coming to the city for the first time.
Right.
Trying to capitalize on making fans, meeting new people in these cities, networking. And I was doing that for about a year. And eventually through that, I got introduced to Insomniac, which was really cool. They started putting me on the art cards, the smaller stages at these festivals, Beatbox art card, the Bacardi, sponsored stages. That was cool. I did those for a while. And then what was cool is, again, I would use social media to promote these sets.
Right.
Hey, I'm playing my first festival, come out. And slowly but surely, we started like building a little community, fans, started coming out to the sets. And I think Insomniac finally started to kind of catch wind and like, yo, this is sick. Who is this dude?
Right.
And so eventually, finally, they started kind of offering me my first festival slot, which was, my first festival was supposed to be Nocturnal last year, 2024. But then the LA fires happened.
Oh, right.
And so the festival got canceled, unfortunately. But my first actual festival, my first main stage slot at a festival, I should say, but that was not an art card, ended up being this year at Beyond 2025.
Right.
That was surreal. I had the opening slot on that one as well.
Right.
And I think we had like 10,000 people show up to our set, which
sick.
That was crazy. And Insomniac, they kind of kept like telling me that, hey, you should find an agent, bro, because you're starting to make some noise.
Right.
And we were kind of picking around, like asking around, like, hey, what's up? Who do we connect with? And And I got to give a big shout out to De Oro, because De Oro actually really made it happen. One of my boys, Ocho, he linked me up with De Oro. He's like, yo, De Oro sees what you're doing. He wants to know if you're down to remix one of his songs. Hell yeah, bro. That's my goat right there. He linked me up in a group chat with him, and then he's like, you know what? Nah, screw the remix. Let's link up for a studio session and let's work on a track. I was like, yeah, let's do it. We linked up at a studio session in LA. Like the next day, it all happened so fast. I got in there, met him for the first time, and like we hit it off immediately. It was like I met one of my longtime homies,
Nice.
And he was just super cool. He's like, bro, you're killing it. Like, who's your agent? I was like, yo, we don't have an agent right now. He's like, what? No way. And he immediately gets his phone out, FaceTimes his agent, Ben Hogan at UTA.
Yeah.
Yo, this is Bolo right here. Puts me on FaceTime. He's like, this was killing it. You need to look into this dude and jump on it, because this dude's gonna be big. And then next thing you know, 2 weeks later, we get a call from Ben Hogan, and we talked about it. We met up at Coachella for the first time in person, kind of just talked some ideas, and we ended up going with UTA, and that was only a few months ago, I believe. Now it's been a few months, and it's been a blessing, man. We've seen some super amazing opportunities. He's got us in some really sick rooms around the country.
Right.
We're in the middle of like a full summer tour right now, hitting some cities I had not even stepped foot in before. So it's great. The shows are selling out in cities I hadn't even been to before. So
because you're doing the movement thing. It's not just, what I love about what you're doing is you're not just coming in and playing a set at a club.
Right.
You're doing, I mean, honestly, a majority of the promotion for the club. You're creating, you're finding those people that want to be a part of that movement in all the different cities.
Yeah.
So that's fucking sick, man.
I'm just winging it too. I have no idea what I'm doing, and it works sometimes.
Man.
I mean, I learn what works. I'll see what doesn't work, and I just try to replicate what works.
You're trying out stuff.
Right.
Not everything sticks for anybody. It doesn't matter. But you're like, this might work. Some of it works, but the overall message is working. And it's connecting. And that's what's dope. And that's what Insomniac sees. That's what Dioro saw. That's why people were forwarding me, yo, you got to have this guy on Powertools. And, it's the overall message is connecting.
Right. And it's cool because I'm just doing what I feel like is true to me. You know what I'm saying? And it's cool because, like, for example, this weekend at Hard Summer, I went to go spend some time out in GA, and I'm out here getting rushed by, like, all these fans. They're like, yo, it's so sick what you're doing, man. Like Viva la Raza, everything. And it's so sick, man, because I knew what I was like leaning into, but hearing the feedback from people like telling me like, yo, dude, this is so sick. I'm a Latino raver, but I didn't like feel more connected than I do now.
Right.
That's super sick to me.
Right.
And yeah, it's a blessing, man. At the end of the day, I'm grateful to be in this position.
You better trademark that.
What, the
Latino Raver?
The Latino Raver? I know.
Well, it's awesome having you on, man. This is the first of many of you coming on Powertools.
Hell yeah.
Appreciate everything you're doing. And anytime you got new music, just send it our way, man.
I got you. It'll hit your DMs first.
All right.
I promise. Thank you, man. I appreciate the opportunity.
Powertools.